Welcome gamers, Hazardor here, and I've had my first couple of hours playing the Division beta, so I just want to tell you guys what I thought of the game, what my first impressions are, and I'll give you a sly little review of the game itself. Now when I opened up the beta, I didn't really know what to expect. I wasn't super hyped for this game, but deep down I did want it to excel, because this game has so much potential. At first view, the graphics are up to date. They're not anything amazing, but they're not below par. They're just sort of a solid graphics for a next-gen console, so I've got no problem with the graphics, or the facial animations, or the visuals, or the environment, or anything like that. The game looks beautiful, and I'm pretty sure you guys won't have a problem with that. Now going into what this game is actually about, the main objective is to get more loot. The more loot you get, the more sort of powerful you are, and the more sort of respected you are among other players, let's say. That is the sort of game it is. Get loot. Once you've got that, you can use that to defeat higher enemies and get more loot, more powerful. And you keep getting more powerful again and again, sort of like Destiny. You keep upgrading your weapons, getting more skills, and actually speaking about the skills tree is actually pretty good. You have skills, then you have perks, then you have something called talents. Perks and talents aren't actually in the beta, so I can't really tell you much about them, but the skills themselves are pretty good. There aren't loads of them, but this is the beta, remember, so there probably are more in the full game, and they're basically just special abilities, like sort of scan the environment, heal teammates, sort of use special explosives, and they really do add a different gameplay mechanic instead of just shooting and throwing grenades as a way to kill your enemies. Now when I was running through this world, I always found stuff to do, and that is one of the best things about this game I've found so far. It's one of those games where you don't have to do the main objective all the time. A lot of the time it was telling me to go there, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna go here and save a hostage. I'm gonna see what's happening over there. I'm gonna see if there's any loot downstairs. I'm gonna check out that building. There's just so much things to do, and your attention is always grabbed by something, a specific building, you know, a different objective. You don't always have to follow a specific path, and that is what I like. Well, that's what I like about a lot of games. For example, The Witcher 3, where you didn't have to do the main objective. You could just go off, do your own thing, and that is what you can do in the Division, and that is a very good thing in my eyes. You're never bored, you always bump into something new, and you're always aspiring to achieve that extra level, that extra higher gun, that extra, I don't know, that extra material, higher equipment, that sort of stuff. There's always something to do, and you always need to upgrade. I'm not too sure about the setting, but basically, what you're doing is sort of killing raiders and people who are trying to do bad stuff, if you know what I mean. It sounds pretty simple, but that's what you've got to do. This is a post-apocalyptic world, everybody's competing for resources. There are loads of people out there willing to betray you to get something for themselves. I didn't do much missions. I think there's only one main mission to do in the beta, but what I did is basically save the hostage, which was a sort of medic, and then you take the medic to a safe zone. Now these safe zones are sort of locations on a map. I'm not too sure how many there are, but there's definitely not one of them only, where you can sort of upgrade your weapons, buy new stuff. There are loads of merchants there. You can sort of assign different missions and stuff like that, so it's sort of your hub for the game. Now, this is a very interesting area because there's no combat whatsoever. It's a place you can go where you can sort of chill, hang out with people, you know, invite people to your game perhaps, and sort of level up, buy new stuff, sell stuff, and you can just sort of prepare yourself for the outside world. Now where this game gets really interesting is in the dark zone. In the dark zone, the game gets so much better. It's sort of like, it's not online only, but you'll find a lot more people, real life people in that than in the normal world. There, in the dark zone, it's much more dangerous than in the safe zone. Not the safe zone, because that's where the base is, but sort of the normal zone of the game. The dark zone is where there are higher enemies, there's more loot, there's loads of traitors about, and you're more likely to die. Now in this dark zone, your objective is to find the best loot possible. As I said before, that is the main objective in the game. And you can sort of team up with players, but these players can always turn on you. If you sort of go in the deeps of the underground and find a really good weapon, your teammate can turn around, shoot you in the bag, and take it for himself, and then go and extract it out of a helicopter, and that goes to his storage. And that adds a really interesting gameplay mechanic. Who do you trust? Are you going to be a traitor yourself? Are you going to sort of be the sort of hero who helps everyone out, but actually doesn't end up with loot at the end of the day? Are you going to be the villain who kills all his teammates and takes the loot for himself? Once you actually kill a teammate, you sort of go rogue, and that appears on everyone's map, and they all try to get you, which completely changed the game. You're not actually killing NPCs anymore, it's PvP all the way. Once you've got the loot, it sort of goes to your helicopter, and that sort of goes to your storage, so you've got that. But if you don't, if someone kills you, they get the loot for themselves, and then it sort of goes onto this cycle of people killing each other to try and gain the best loot. And that is where this game excels, I think. It's when people are going head to head for the loot, and you sort of have to debate if you want to help people, if you want to go rogue, or if you don't want to go in the dark Dark Zone at all. The Dark Zone is quite a dangerous place, so you don't have to go in it. Weapon customization is really solid as well. You can add suppressors, sights, extra mags, all that sort of stuff. I didn't actually do much of this because I don't think a lot of it's available in the beta, and it's quite hard to actually find this equipment, so I didn't manage to customize my weapon that much. But I know the weapon customization is really in detail because I only had a sneak peek and I saw loads of content there. Now going on to a few bad things I thought about the game, I thought the heads-up display was a bit complicated. There are loads of different tabs, there are customizables everywhere. When you're on the screen, there's like objectives all over the place. It was kind of overwhelming. I didn't really know what to do at the start, and it sort of felt like they were pushing me in different directions. I didn't know where to go. Do I go to these merchants? Do I do the main mission? Do I just roam? And it was kind of complicated, and I didn't really like that at the start of the game anyway. I got used to it after a while, but at the start, as I said, it was a bit overwhelming. And one thing I didn't really like was that the enemies are kind of the same again and again. Of course, this is a beta, so you probably haven't saw those high level enemies. All the enemies I were killing, or at least 99% of them, were all the same. They were sort of the same raiders who had the same armor, same weapon, and you know, as I said, it was probably in the same area. And in the beta, well, in the full game I mean, there's going to be loads more different enemies with different armor, different weapons, all that sort of stuff. But in the beta at least, all the enemies seemed the same. It was kind of boring killing them again and again, a sort of rinse and repeat. But remember, this is a beta, and this is not the full game. Now, there's been a lot of comparisons made between this game and Destiny, and I can really see where those comparisons come from. I really hope this game doesn't become Destiny for obvious reasons, because that is not that successful at all. Well, not successful compared to what it used to be. So I hope people don't overhype this game, because if they overhype it, it's basically impossible for it to reach expectations. The beta is solid, but I don't think this is the sort of game that's gonna make Game of the Year or anything like that. But you know, The Division is a solid game so far. I think it really does excel when it comes to PvP and trying to get the best loot possible. The fact that I haven't really got much negative things to say about it at all just shows you how much of a solid game this can be, and I'm definitely going to be picking this up at launch. But anyway guys, thank you for watching. Like, comment and subscribe for more.